Today I'll show you the power of ZV-E1. It's one of the best cameras that I've used when it comes to low light. But before that, let me show you what the scene looks like on my iPhone. So this is how the lighting looks on my iPhone. And just to show you what it looks like on the ZV-E1, that's the eye. And there you go. So now I know it's superficial that you don't want to work in that much low light or whatever. But for me, once I used this, and mistake was, this was actually my first Sony mirrorless system that I ever used. And it's not just about low light. It's the autofocus in low light. It's just the way that the picture looks in this camera is so good. And the feeling, the overall, like the way it makes you feel, it's very different. And maybe the reason that I can say that, or the reason for me that happened is because of, and maybe I'm biased in the sense that this was my first camera which actually gave me a decent picture without trying too much. Because the camera before this one, which I've used as a mirrorless system, was a Nikon Z50. Like, just to give you a context, right now I'm going on a dark road, but I've got a light on in my car, which is not the front light, it's back light, which is facing the passenger seat on the left. And that's how much light it captures when it comes to just the low light capability of this camera. And it's just unbelievable. It feels like magic, to be honest. The way it works. Like, it got dual native ISO. One is, I believe, 800, and the other one, usually in cameras like, let's say, A7C II, it's 4000. Some cameras, it could be around 6400. But this one, it's 12800 native ISO. Which means if you're shooting on log, then you can use 12800 as the base ISO, which means there would be minimal noise. And it's literally wizardry if you think about it. Like, 12800 can make your even a normal lens look great in dark scenario. And hence, that's one of the best cameras I've used as far as low light is concerned. And given the scenario that this sensor is same as the FX3, FX6, as well as A7S III, which were known to be very good cinema cameras, as well as very appreciated in the overall cinematic world as far as Sony ecosystem is concerned. So ZV-E1 gives you all those same things in a very small package. The camera used to overheat, but I believe they've sorted that out. And either way, if you're shooting something of this talking head, and if you're not planning to shoot more than half an hour, you would be fine. And this is what you can expect when you're going on a freeway. There's some light coming in. I wouldn't say there's no lights. And let me actually open up the shade, so it will give you a bit more context about how it looks. But that's what you can expect from a ZV-E1. And if you're not new to my channel, I've actually shot a video on my ZVE10, which is a APS-C sensor camera. And you can compare how that footage looked compared to this one. Now, given that footage was on a kit lens, but this is what you can expect from a ZV-E1 with a 24mm 1.4 GM lens. And I'm right now going to a very dark road again. Just one light at the back diagonal, just one light at the back of the car, and this is what you can expect from it. I just cannot believe that I'm able to do that at night. I understand it's not a scenario where you might find yourself, but what if you do? This is what you're gonna get. So trust me when I say just try the ZV-E1 or A7S III or the FX3 or FX6 if you have too much money to spend, because they are premium products when it comes to Sony ecosystem. They're like cinema line cameras. But try that in S-Log3. You don't even have to learn to color grade, just get a LUT from Sony, or even bake in the LUT, because this footage I've actually baked in the LUT. So if you want to know how I do that, leave a comment on my video, as well as subscribe to my channel, because I'll be more than happy to share my process of how I get this sort of footage straight out of camera. I don't plan to edit this one, as well as all the other things that I've learned so far in my creative journey when it comes to using Sony ecosystem. This was Amit, and you are watching Be a Creator. I'll see you in the next one.